Good evening. Welcome to our SCC online devotion. It's Friday and I'd like to remind our kids and our young people, bukas, Saturday, gising ng maaga sa mga bata, 10 a.m. po, at sa mga parents, please remind them, go online before 10 a.m. for our kids church and then go online before 3 p.m. for our young people. Our passage tonight is in Judges chapter 1 verses 19 to 35 and then we will go to chapter 2 verses 1 to 3. Sabi po dito, the Lord was with the people of Judah and they took possession of the hill country, but they failed to drive out the people living in the plains who had iron chariots. Karugtong po ito ng story na pinag-aralan natin yesterday sa book of Joshua. Remember, si Joshua, nagpapaalam na siya at sabi niya ganon, conquer the lands na natitira pa, drive out natin. Drive out ninyo yung mga nakatira doon. At dito sabi, yung Judah, they failed to drive out the people living in the plains who had iron chariots. Now let us go to verse 21. The tribe of Benjamin, however, failed to drive out the Jebusites who were living in Jerusalem. Verse 27. Let's jump to verse 27. The tribe of Manasseh failed to drive out the people living in Bethshan, Taanach, Dor, Eblim, Megiddo, and all their surrounding settlements. And then in verse 29, the tribe of Ephraim failed to drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer, so the Canaanites continued to live there among them. Verse 30, the tribe of Zebulun failed to drive out the residents of Kitron and Nahalol, so the Canaanites continued to live among them. Another one in verse 33. Likewise, the tribe of Naphtali failed to drive out the residents of Beth-Shemesh and Beth-Anat. Now, these tribes, they failed to drive out, okay? The people living doon sa promised land na binigay sa kanila ng Panginoon. Now, let's jump to chapter 2 verses 1 to 3. The angel, ano po ang nangyari? What is the consequence na hindi nila nasunod yung utos ng Panginoon? Chapter 2 verse 1 to 3 ng Judges. The angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bochim and said to the Israelites, I brought you out of Egypt into this land that I swore to give your ancestors, and I said I would never break my covenant with you. For your part, ito yung part ninyo, you were not to make any covenants with the people living in this land, right? Like a strong relationship, like friendship, partnership, fellowship, marriage. Sabi niya ganon. You were not to make any covenants with the people living in this land. Instead, you were to destroy their altars, yung kanilang Diyos-Diyosan, sabi niya. But you disobeyed my command. Why did you do this? So now I declare that I will no longer drive out the people living in your land. They will be thorns in your sides. What is the consequence? Sabi niya, they will be thorns in your sides, and their gods will be a constant temptation to you. So the consequence kapag pumasok po tayo sa relationship, covenant natin sa Panginoong Jesus. And sa ating kaligtasan po, may mga bagay, alright, na pinapaputol sa atin. Kasi kapag hindi natin na-conquer yun, temptations, relationships, this will be thorns in our sides. Ibig sabihin po nun, may consequence. Maaring sa ngayon, bukas, hindi mo makita yung result ng maling relationship na pinili po natin. Yung maling partnership na pinili po natin. Yung pagsunod sa custom, sa tradition, sa sistema ng mundong ito. Maaring the next month, the following year, makikita natin na yung effect nito sa buhay natin ay sisirain niya tayo, or manghihina yung faith po natin. Ang worst po ay mailayo niya tayo, yung heart natin sa Panginoon. So ano man yung kailangan natin, i-cut na connection. Right? I-drive out, i-conquer na temptation. Conquer it today. Conquer it now. Cut it now. Thank you for joining me in our online devotion. Stay hungry for the Word of God and see you again tomorrow.